What is the secret language of birthdays? Secret language scientific personality reports have proven to be over 90% accurate after 21 years in use by millions of people in a dozen languages worldwide. Our data comes from Gary Goldsnyder's 40-year empirical study of the life stories of more than 20,000 people, analyzed by date of birth. Gary looked at 50 people born on your birthday and found the personality traits held in common by 45 of them. Then he created personality profiles from those traits for each day, week, month, season and year, and I further combined those profile names into the ultimate distillation of your personality, your secret language name. As for you, you were born on May 22nd. Your secret language name is Instructional Serial Epic. Your favorable personality traits are persistent, energetic, productive, versatile, active, brilliant, positive, diplomatic, sacrificing. Your challenging personality traits are obsessive, compulsive, unrealistic, garrulous, compulsive, hasty, didactic, self-pitying, world-weary. May 22nd is titled the Day of the Serial Epic. Those born on May 22nd have the energy required for epic feats. They are magnetically drawn towards serial creations and forms of entertainment in which they can exercise their talents again and again with development and variation. The excess of their lives does not necessarily lie in the amount of material wealth they pile up nor the number of friends they acquire, but in production of work. May 22nd people most often repetitively create within a model or construct, and their projects are rarely isolated or one of a kind. Those born on this day are also collectors, whether of lists, facts, numbers, birthdays or objects, and can often be found categorizing, naming and typing. They can even collect people, in the sense of friends and acquaintances. If those born on this day put their energy into creating children, they will experience no greater joy than growing into the role of patriarch or matriarch and watching their family prosper and develop. If they are unable or choose not to have children, they may gladly take part in an extended family, enjoying their role as godparent, uncle, aunt, cousin, etc. In any case, the warmth and structure of family life is essential to them. Those born on this day must guard against obsessive compulsiveness in their activities and of taking on projects that are beyond them. A characteristic megalomania accompanies this day, so that it is often an impossibly large task that attracts May 22nd people. Consequently, they may suffer from an accompanying power complex, feeling alternately godlike and ant-like. Indeed, hidden feelings of inferiority often lie behind such megalomania. May 22nd people have long and vivid memories, but sometimes need to rearrange or color past events to insulate themselves from pain. They also tend to file away slights and wrongs directed at them, thus creating lasting grudges. It is important that they learn not only to forgive, but simply to forget. The emotions of May 22nd people can be quite unstable. So intent are they on what they are doing at any given time that they can explode in a childish manner if their concentration is disturbed. They must get a hold on their hysterical tendencies and calm down if they are to develop as people. A more highly evolved May 22nd person generally overcomes such attacks by the age of 30. When May 22nd people find a project, they latch onto it and don't let go, but until that time must be free to pursue their varied and ever-changing interests. Those close to them must understand their enthusiasm, and not accuse them of being flighty or false when their attention shifts to yet another object, person or field of study. Those close to May 22nd people must therefore keep some distance and not get wrapped up in expectations. Because those born on May 22nd generally both recover and adapt quickly, if a project fails, others may still be mired in disappointment while the May 22nd person has already turned a page and moved on to the next phase. When it comes to health. Because May 22nd people are often busy with their hands, they must take special care with them, particularly the wrists and finger joints. Also, the energetic use of their arms and shoulders may lead to cramps, tensions and neck pain. Hot baths, massage and sauna are useful here. Obsessive-compulsive tendencies may lead May 22nd people to drive themselves too hard too fast, which exhausts their nervous system. Resulting head and neck aches can be treated with pain-killing or muscle-relaxing drugs, but perhaps better by meditation, magnetizing or shiatsu massage. May 22nd people must allow themselves the periodic rest. Naps are excellent, which they require. The diet of those born on this day is best kept well-rounded, including a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. Numerology. Those born on the 22nd of the month are ruled by the numbers 4, 2 plus 2 equals 4, and 22, and by the planet Uranus, which is both erratic and explosive. For May 22nd people, Uranus receives added nervous and mental energy from Mercury, ruler of Gemini, which can impel hasty decisions and abrupt changes of mind. Those ruled by the number 4 are highly individual. Because they so often take the minority point of view with great assurance, they can arouse antagonism and make enemies. Since 22 is a double number, people born on the 22nd of the month may be fascinated with various doubles, including twins, coincidences and symmetry. The archetype for May 22nd. The 22nd card of the major arcana is the Fool, who in several versions of the tarot is shown blithely stepping over the edge of a cliff. Some interpretations picture him as a foolish man who has given up his reason, others a highly spiritualized being free of material considerations. Positive meanings include renouncing resistance and following instincts freely. Foolishness, impulsiveness and annihilation are the negative aspects. The highly evolved Fool has followed life's path, experienced its lessons and become one with her own vision. Your meditation. Alone among the animals, man loves noise. Again listen here, this is your meditation, think about it. Alone among the animals, man loves noise. Some advice for you based on the date of May 22nd. Work on emotional self-control. Learn the value of maintenance and don't overlook the details. Lessen demands on your partner, examine your own faults. Don't take on too much and finish what you start. You were born during the week of energy, May 19th through the 24th. The personality of this week. These people have abundant energy, a keen interest in the world around them and charm that tends to draw innumerable friends and lovers. However, those involved with them are in constant fear of losing them. For some this is both challenging and appealing. Others, however, may be turned off by their reputation for untrustworthiness, and such preconceptions may hurt them, particularly in the areas of business and employment. Their brilliance is not enough to guarantee success in a given field unless it is backed up by a string of undeniable accomplishments. Unfortunately, they do not always manifest an endurance equal to their desires and impulses. While slower, more purposeful individuals just hang in there, these folks may find themselves being passed in life's race, as the hare was overtaken by a self-possessed and deliberate turtle. Drawing up a resume can be a painful process for them, since it may reveal an eclectic background lacking real depth, a short sojourn in each job and dubious accomplishments. Learning about the creation of structure and the value of limitations is essential to their growth. In relationships, they often come on too strong. Indeed, their friends occasionally wonder why they need to be the center of attention every minute of every day. They seem to find themselves fascinating, and to want to share that fascination with all around them. It may be necessary for them to cultivate a certain indifference to themselves if they are to improve the quality of their relationships, keeping their latest thought to themselves and making themselves more receptive and sympathetic to others. If friends, lovers or spouses come to feel that they are only there to watch or listen to them, and are not really appreciated or needed for themselves, the days of the relationship may well be numbered. As mates or partners, they may well spend their time heading off after the newest exciting prospect while their counterpart deals with the mundane tasks of home management, finance and general maintenance. This tendency may be worsened when it leads them to make unfavorable comparisons, picturing their partners as dull and uninteresting. Frictions and, ultimately, breakups can result. To participate in a successful ongoing relationship, these folks must sacrifice some of their brilliance to necessary everyday tasks, thereby asserting their interest in and commitment to the relationship as well as their respect for their partner's own needs for creative and quality time. In fairness to them, however, if their mate or partner can accept them as they are, they can prove loving and faithful. Because they combine earthy, sensuous traits with airy mental characteristics, they can be both obsessively interested in physical matters and compulsive about checking things out. They may be characterized, in other words, by curiosity about the physical state of others, worry about their own bodies and a fascination with whether machines or equipment are generally working properly. The best partners for them are often those who are strong enough to maintain their own individuality, establishing boundaries that should not be violated or infringed upon while at the same time proving able to fulfill their need to communicate. Sharing their interests is not nearly so important, however, as respecting and appreciating them. These people can make excellent parents, presenting a kaleidoscope of interests to their children. They should realistically ask themselves, however, whether their own needs do not preclude the kind of stability and empathy necessary to raise a family. Their periodic assessment of their own needs and desires, and their placement of strong limits on the scope of their activities, are in fact essential to their success in all areas of personal relationships. Before committing to a longer or deeper relationship, those born during the week of energy need to get their priorities straight and to give deep consideration to the question of whether they are prepared to make the necessary sacrifices. Introspection, planning and soul-searching do not come easily to them but in the long run will save much pain and hardship for all concerned. If you were born during the week of energy, here is some advice for you. Advice. Monitor the pace of your activities carefully. Seek to be more consistent and less casual in jettisoning people and ideas. Don't come on so strong. Turn off your mental motor from time to time. Confront your fears and insecurities. You were born during the way of instruction. Those born during the way of instruction must share or impart some unique expertise or experience with others, sometimes simply the wisdom achieved by living. Thus, one finds these individuals acquiring or developing a system of knowledge or a skill early in their lives. Their journey, however, does not stop there. They must learn to share their expertise with others. Inherent in the character of these people is a natural leadership ability. They truly have a desire to lead but must work hard to develop the skills to do so. Rising to the top of a profession or social system may not come easily to them. Once they have arrived, however, and they always do, their mission is to learn how to teach what they know without falling prey to their inborn didacticism. Their core lesson is the development of a real desire to share what they know with others, while allowing them to have their own thoughts, ideas, and theories. These folks eventually discover the truth in the well-worn saying knowledge is power. Thus, in their long, hard struggle to become top dog, one of their weapons may be withholding information and keeping what they know to themselves. But they need to overcome this tendency, difficult as it may be. Another problem is that there exists an ingrained habit of forcing one's ideas on others. Part of the lesson here is to actively encourage students to draw their own conclusions, in other words, not to lecture so much as query, allowing students to formulate their own views. These individuals are prone to be gentle tyrants. It is best for them to keep the attitude that instructors can learn as much, if not more, from their students as their students learn from them. Interestingly, those born during the way of instruction have many lessons to learn. These individuals have a certain fearlessness, one that permits them to attain great heights. Is it any surprise that many become political leaders? Highly idealistic, they are born with a pioneering spirit that, when harnessed, can be transmuted into an extraordinary capacity for leadership. Donning such a mantle, however, does require the development of greater sophistication in the ways of the world. Though these individuals are gifted natural diplomats, they are by nature also rougher, more outspoken types, who tend to approach others on a take-me-or-leave-me basis and are certainly not willing to change or soften themselves for anyone. If these trench soldiers are to become generals, they must learn more about social niceties or spit and polish. It's lonely at the top, and usually these folks would rather be surrounded by loved ones. Thus, once they achieve a position of rulership, they are apt to struggle with feelings of loneliness and deprivation. Luckily, their intimacy needs are dependent not on deep connections with others but rather on numerous ones. They just like to have a lot of other people around them. Thus, there is a danger that they will surround themselves with sycophants or groupies. These types of people, unfortunately, are unlikely either to stand up to, or challenge them, to see other points of view, something that is sorely needed for their development. They must also learn that a certain amount of theatricality should go into the educational process, that is, entertainment can be one of the greatest ways of making a point. Generally serious in outlook, they would do well to learn to take themselves less seriously and to incorporate more playful or expressive qualities into their nature. However, once the worldliness and success they work so hard to achieve comes to them, they are apt to relax and the rest of their journey will fall into place. They will master the grand gesture and the ability to command an audience, and ultimately, they will have a desire to share the fruits of their hard-won wisdom. Obviously, the arena of life that is most fated for these people involves career or social standing. Meetings of all types, whether business, club, academic, recreational, parental, or other, will acquaint them with the social skills needed to lead such groups. Thus, they are urged to seek out and participate in social organizations of all kinds. However, patience is warranted, as many years of maturing in such contexts may be required before they are ready to exert effective leadership. A major mistake would occur if their natural thirst for idealism and leadership causes them to lunge headfirst into an attempt to take over the reins of power in a group. Doing this before establishing a constituency of support by others will only succeed in making others angry. Alternatively, feeling insecure in their ability to lead, they may lock themselves into a self-sacrificing situation of perpetually remaining in the role of foot soldier. Once in a leadership role, they may also become tyrannical, expecting others to blindly, unquestioningly, and loyally follow them to their ultimate goal, without ever telling anyone what that goal is. Their ability to lead and to teach is heavily dependent on how their constituency sees them. Should others see them as wide-eyed idealists or monomaniacal, obviously only the more unstable of their followers will continue to be willing to learn. Thus, it is important for them to express their goals and outline their agenda clearly. Holding back information or being secretive will always engender suspicion and hostility. The best leaders are often those who also serve by squarely placing their support behind others rather than blindly following an ideal at all costs. Strong bonds with leaders of other groups, whether professional, leisure time, or family, will provide them with examples to learn from and identify with and create open channels of communication for learning. Having even one such individual from whom advice can be sought is essential to remaining objective. Because they have little time for a personal life, they tend to give up more intimate personal relationships in favor of worldly action. Their lovers, mates, friends, and family members will often suffer from feelings of neglect. These folks, who have a strong need for close intimates, may periodically suffer from having to sacrifice their relationships to a greater cause. A danger exists here. These individuals are usually gifted with a healthy, if not powerful, sexuality. It is imperative for them to learn to rein in their passions as they adjust to leading a more solitary life. Otherwise the combination of their lustiness together with a tendency to rationalize could prove to be a lethal combination. Sexual peccadillos are minefields for them and could prove to be their undoing. Their partners must be independent types who can also be flexible. These individuals come to spiritual fruition only later in life. In the meantime, husbands, wives, and lovers will have to learn to live with the absence and workaholic tendencies of their mates. Moreover, these individuals' inherent idealism means that they expect quite a lot from their partners, given that they feel they themselves are sacrificing so much, and tend to want what they want when they want it. They do not always know what is best for them, and their drive for success may mean that they neglect their own needs or health. They may wish others to follow them around, attending to their every need, but in fact this is not what is best for them. They need people who will point out when they are wrong or misguided. And they must learn not to oscillate between their career and personal lives so rapidly. Finding the balance between work and play is key here. Learning to delegate responsibility, to develop others to take on duties and share power, in other words, to teach what they know, is what they need to do most. It is the key to their long-term success, health, and prosperity. Ultimately, they will discover that the pleasure of sharing knowledge is the real reward. The image that comes to mind for those who are born during the way of instruction is a productive fruit tree that stands alone, permitting birds to nestle in its branches, giving shade to animals and humans, shedding its leaves to fertilize the ground below, and ultimately giving freely of its yield for all to enjoy. The goal for those born during the way of instruction is to lead and teach democratically while also considering the feelings of others. To do this you must release the need for others. Your reward will be the joy of sharing what you knows. Suggestions. Be open to all ideas, anyone could prove useful. Assuage feelings of loneliness by developing a relationship with spirit. Your balance point. Education and learning. Your path is called the path of instructional energy. It is a combination of the week of energy, traveling, the way of instruction. Personality of this configuration. Those born during the cusp of energy are blessed with a keen interest in the world around them, and their impulse to broaden and expand their horizons will be evident at a very early age. Despite their tremendous energies, however, they may fail to slow down long enough to acquire the depth of experience and expertise demanded by the way of instruction. Cusp of energy people have a rather charmingly unself-conscious approach to life, but it can hold them back if they fail to develop a thorough knowledge of themselves. Gifted performers, they can sometimes lose their audience through displays of temper or by insisting on their own way at the expense of the larger group objective. Still, these individuals are destined to harness their energy over time, and their ability to slow down, to focus, and to give themselves to the world as teachers, artists, and experts will ensure their success. Your challenge is focusing your energies on the development of one area of expertise. Your fulfillment. Learning to release, through instruction, all the knowledge you spent years gathering. Did you hear that? Listen again. Your fulfillment comes from learning to release, through instruction, all the knowledge you spent years gathering. You were born during the month of the Diversifier, May 22nd to June 21st. The motto for the month of the Diversifier is I communicate. Personality of this month. The month of the Diversifier is the third month in the personology year, representing quickness of thought and facile communication. This month is mental in orientation, and thus can be compared to a lively intellect reaching out to establish contact with other emerging points of view. In the same way, it symbolizes the expanding powers of the mind exercised by the adolescent evolving toward adulthood. Those born this month are concerned with the close connection between thought and verbal expression. They also associate with details rather than the broad view or larger picture. Liveliness, variety and change, both of experience and environment, are all vital to them. They have a clear need for a partner and have a capacity for adaptation and even sudden reversals of direction. People born during the month of the Diversifier transmute fixed, earthy and practical energies into protective, empathic and sensitive ones. Their personality can be likened to the adolescent striving to reach young adulthood. This time of life is typified by a desire to integrate socially but also to break away from parental and/or societal authority. In fact, though outspoken, These are not rebellious people per se, they just revel in their own individuality, and value personal freedom above all else. Like adolescents, they are attracted to excitement and change. They bore easily, and generally prefer going out in search of excitement to staying home and enjoying security and simple pleasures. Few things bring these folks as much satisfaction as traveling around with one or more friends looking for some trouble to get into. For them, trouble means adventure, daring, innovation, and perhaps the fun of recounting their exploits while embellishing a few details to liven things up a bit. Usually they have nervous energy to burn and are attracted to those activities that give them a lift, a sense of exaltation. If those born during any month could actually fly, these would be the ones. Many forms of travel appeal to them, from bikes and skates to cars and motorcycles. But they also tire easily, and faced with the demands of the long haul may just as soon prefer to give up or change direction. Those born during the month of the diversifier like being part of a group. They tend to liven up any social situation with their flow of ideas and verbal facility. However, they may not readily accept the responsibilities of group membership. They are often accused of being fickle and even superficial, but in their view changing one's mind is no sin. The importance of non-attachment is something they usually take to heart. March 21st to June 21st is the season of initiation. Personality of this season. The beginning of the personality year is March 21st. On this spring equinox, which symbolizes rebirth, days and nights are of equal length. As spring wears on, the days grow longer and the nights shorter. Spring is the first quarter of the yearly cycle. It extends from the spring equinox to the summer solstice. Springtime is traditionally a period of new growth. As the earth and air heat up, the fire of the sun melts the winter ice and snow. Spring rains coupled with swollen rivers bring water to the earth and new life bursts forth. Planting of crops and vegetables begins once the nights become shorter and all danger of freezing is past. Seeds germinate in the earth, plants sprout and quickly begin to grow. The first flowers blossom, and in combination with the birds and animals, perhaps newly born, returned from migrations or awakened from hibernation, add beauty and liveliness to this quadrant of the year. Analogously, people spend more time outside and wear fewer but more colorful clothes as the days lengthen and the average temperature rises. More daylight means more time available for recreation and the enjoyment of natural surroundings. Generally speaking, those born in the springtime manifest an enthusiasm for life. Their energy is prodigious where initiating projects is concerned, and their ability to survive and/or adapt is noteworthy. Often more extroverted than introverted, springtime people tend to impact heavily on their environment. However, their capacity to dutifully or doggedly stick to one activity is not necessarily great. Springtime people like to share what they think, create and produce, and they are, more than those born in other seasons, in need of fairly constant appreciation and approval for what they do. A desire to be free characterizes many born in this season, and they may not react well to having restrictions imposed on them. Springtime people need to grow, expand and make their mark on the world. Those born in the spring often carry a childlike air about them their whole life long. Innocence, spontaneity, impulse, these are all characteristic of springtime people. Generally positive in their outlook, they may be put off by highly serious attitudes and have little patience for those with negative orientations. Being born in this season, your mode of thought is that of the initiator. Initiators begin the whole process, you are starter-uppers who get things going. Concepts of this season: renewal, power, energy. Their motto: I am, I have, I communicate. Well, May 22nd, that's it. That is you based on your probable personality traits based on your date of birth. Secret language scientific personality reports have proven to be over 90% accurate after 21 years in use by millions of people in a dozen languages worldwide. Our data comes from Gary Goldsnyder's 40-year empirical study of the life stories of more than 20,000 people, analyzed by date of birth. Gary looked at 50 people born on your birthday and found the personality traits held in common by 45 of them. Then he created personality profiles from those traits for each day, week, month, season and year, and I further combined those profile names into the ultimate distillation of your personality, your secret language name.